The issue of decriminalization of abortion has taken center stage in Korea recently, as more than 200,000 people signed an online petition to abolish the current ban on abortion. In Korea, abortion is illegal, except for limited cases such as for rape victims or for high-risk pregnancies. The heated argument between pro-life and pro-choice goes way back in Korea. The pro-choice side says that Korea is lagging behind in its attempts to give women more freedom compared to Western societies. They say that a woman's right to choose what to do with her body should come first. Pro-lifers say that the embryo or fetus is a human life, and therefore abortion is murder. Permitting the use of anti-abortion pills such as mifepristone, aka RU486, and the morning after pill, also known as Plan B, are highly debated subjects in Korea. As a result of large amounts of signatures from the petition, a top presidential aide responded through a video that there are many cases of illegal abortion threatening the health of women, and it's time to start an open discussion. Under Korea's current judicial system, the final decision should be made by the Constitutional Court. The public will have to see whether the court will review the constitutionality of the abortion law, which may be similar to what happened in America's 1973 Supreme Court case, Roe v. Wade. Yeah, you can also, for the pro-choice argument, people can also argue that governments should not decide what women can or can't do with their bodies. You can also say that women have the right to choose to have a baby or not. Right, so for the pro-life argument, they say that I want to define embryo or fetus. An embryo is a fertilized egg. The fetus is what happens to the egg when it develops after the 9th week of pregnancy. That's the difference between embryo and fetus. Some argue that the embryo or fetus is the same as a human life and thus has the same rights as humans do. Also, the debate of when does life begin is very controversial. The pro-life argument is that life starts at conception. Conception is when the sperm fertilizes the female egg. Yeah. Women who have been raped or have high-risk pregnancies are the only ones allowed by law to have an abortion in Korea. Also, there are very strict and regulated laws allowing women to have abortions in Korea. Women are only allowed if their life is in danger from the pregnancy or they have been a victim of rape. So just going back, so rape is any sexual assault against a woman that does not want to have consensual sex. Consensual sex meaning both parties agree. And then in the second sentence, we talked about if your life is in danger. Life is in danger means that your life is threatened. So you can apply that to your health, or for example, in a car driving down a snowy road and you're about to have an accident, your life is in danger. Or you're walking down a dangerous street at night, your life is in danger. So we use life is in danger when you could possibly be killed or die. The current laws pertaining to abortions drive women to back alley abortions. These procedures are sometimes performed by doctors who are not qualified and may endanger the life of the woman. Women face medical uncertainties if they choose to get an abortion. Abortions need to be conducted in a clean and safe environment under the supervision of a qualified doctor. So before I said current laws pertaining to abortions drive women to back alley abortions. So back alley, an alley is kind of a small street behind a building. If you use back alley, it usually means something illegal, or you go somewhere for a nefarious purpose or an illegal purpose. Back alley gambling room means a place that not many people know about, maybe an illegal gambling room. A back alley abortion is when women don't have a lot of money, they can't go to a hospital, so they'll go to someone who may or may not be qualified to do an abortion for cheap and confidentially. Usually these can result in medical problems resulting from the procedure of the abortion. But yeah, usually back alley we use for negative things. Also, abortions need to be conducted in a clean and safe environment under the supervision of a qualified doctor. So under the supervision, we always use for someone who conducts something. So usually a medical procedure under the supervision of a physician, a doctor, or a child needs to always be under the supervision of a teacher or a parent. It means someone watching over and guiding the situation. Right. So we're talking about here about both parties raising the child and how the government should be involved in this process. So the government needs to clearly define the rights of the mother and the legal obligation of the father, such as mandatory paternity test, child support, and custody-related matters. Laws need to be in place so that a single mother does not have to raise a child alone. Single mothers are at a disadvantage both socially and financially in Korean society. The father of the child must also share the responsibility of raising a child. So when we talk about what I said before, paternity test, we have two types of words, maternity and paternity. Maternity refers to anything related to the mother. So for example, maternity leave. When a woman's working and she needs to take time off to have and raise a child, we call that maternity leave. In some Scandinavian countries, fathers get paternity leave. They are also allowed to take time off and raise their child. So a paternity test is to test if the father is the actual father of the child. So it's usually a paternity test is proof. The father has to show the courts if he is or is not the father. So in the United States, the father must take a paternity test. If the woman's a single mother, they find the father must be able to support the child if they can prove who the father is. Child support is the money that the father or sometimes even the mother pays for the child, and custody-related matters. So custody is when a couple is divorced or not married or not living together. Who gets the child for how long? So if you have something called 50-50 custody, that means the child will spend half the time with the mother, half the time with the father. Sometimes we have weekend custody, where one of the parents will only get the child on the weekend or every other weekend, which means 2 weekends a month. These custody matters are negotiated by the court. And then before I said single mothers are at a disadvantage. So you can be at a disadvantage in a competition or a job interview or in society in general when something is going against you. So a single mother in Korea is not socially accepted as it is in other countries yet. So they are at a disadvantage.
Next time.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.